What's going on YouTube? GeoSnow right here. Today we're discussing about jailbreaking iOS 18.6 and lower, whether you should update to 18.6 or 18.5, what options do you have at the moment in terms of signing, and of course whether or not you can wait on any of these versions for a jailbreak and which one is better. This video is brought to you by AnyUnlock. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but if you want to jailbreak your device, the best thing you can do at the moment is to not update. But there is an important reason why. iOS 18.6 is out. It's been released for a couple of days now, and it does patch a couple of vulnerabilities. However, you're going to find out that the vulnerabilities out here in the security content, they're not exactly very powerful. There are many of them, and some of them create denial of services, which means crashing the application or the phone. Some of them do lead to memory corruption, and some of them even look interesting, to say the least, and might be useful for jailbreak purposes. But in my opinion, they're not exactly very big vulnerabilities like kernel exploits or PAC bypasses or stuff like that being patched in 18.6. However, you should still not update to 18.6 if you want to jailbreak anytime soon, especially on the newer devices, because 18.5 is still signed and you can still comfortably stay there for a while. But the iOS 18.4.1 and lower is where you want to be. Even though it's no longer signed, 18.4.1 is still somehow available through OTA delay, and you can still get to it if you're on a lower version like iOS 13, 14 and so on, and you don't have good app support anymore. Now, jumping to iOS 18.6 or 0.5 would be a bad idea, because there is very likely not going to be any jailbreak tool for those two versions anytime soon. Not even Pelrain for older devices properly supports those versions at the moment. While you can technically jailbreak with Pelrain on iOS 18.5 and 18.6, it's still not fully compatible. UI cache is broken, and you will not be able to properly open the Celio application or Zebra and also the Pelrain application once you complete jailbreaking. So not even Pelrain officially supports those at the moment. So I would definitely advise you to stay on 18.3, 18.3.1, 18.2 and lower if you want to jailbreak as soon as possible, because those versions have way more bugs, and of course the security contents of iOS 18.4.1 and of course 18.5 definitely look like they patched quite a lot of vulnerabilities that could possibly be useful in a jailbreak context. Nowadays, jailbreaks for modern devices like the iPhone 16, 15 and 13 and so on are quite rare, and if you keep on updating to the latest version, you will essentially never have a jailbreak, and you should stay at least a few versions behind, because as time passes and as new iOS versions get released, the vulnerabilities present in older iOS versions start to be released either as write-up or of course as security advisories and so on. But yeah, at the moment, I definitely advise you to check out the page over here on iDeviceCentral.com, Jailbreak Tools. Here you can find the latest status for all devices, and including for iOS 26, iOS 18.5, and of course iOS 17. Now, there is currently no jailbreak available, but there are some tools that you might be able to use depending on what version of iOS 18 you have. For example, Misaka X, Nugget, and so on. While on the newest version, like the 18.5 and 18.6, none of these tools work, so definitely don't update. That's essentially it. As I said, this video is brought to you by AnyUnlock. If you bought a secondhand device and it turned out locked, or you got scammed on eBay and so on, you can try their unlocking tool over here, which supports multiple devices in multiple modes, unlocking the screen passcode, Apple ID, and even bypassing the activation. It also supports MDM. Definitely check the program out in the link below. Thank you for watching. I am GeoSnow. Peace out.